Did you ever feel like you weren't good enough? This is probably the most common complaint I've heard from patients and students as well, beating up on yourself because you're not smart enough or tall enough or successful enough or athletic enough or whatever. And it's such a joy to find a way to escape from that trap and come back to life again, rather than living in a inner hell of self-criticism and inferiority and inadequacy. My wife and I recently had some work done on our house, and a fellow named Bill was working, kind of doing house painting, but on the outside, and I think some carpentry work on our shed and on our front door, and a bunch of things. And he was there for a good week or 10 days, and my wife and I were just marveling the whole time at how lucky we were to have found him, because he was just doing elegant, beautiful painting. Just took some parts of our outside of our house that was getting kind of run down and made them look just fantastic. And he was also a very kind and pleasant person to interact with. And I was walking downstairs into our, the area near the front door, entry hallway or whatever you call it. And the door was open and he was kneeling there. And I knew it was his last day of work. And so I told him, Bill, I just wanted you to know how much my wife and I have appreciated, having you here. We felt super lucky, and we're so grateful for the work you did. I just wanted you to know that. And then he was kneeling because he'd been working on something on, where the front door closes, and he looked up to me, looked really sad, and he says, I heard that you're some kind of doctor. Is that right? And I said, oh yeah, yes, I'm a doctor. I'm a psychiatrist. And he said, well, and then I was thinking maybe you could help me or something, or tell me what to do. Maybe I need a pill of some kind, because I'm feeling really, really down, and I think I might be depressed. And but I don't know what that word means or anything. And I said, well, you sounds like you are depressed, and maybe I could just talk to you for a few minutes and get more of a feel for what's going on. And if you know anything about my work, you know I put a lot of emphasis on thoughts, because 2,000 years ago, Epictetus, the Greek Stoic philosopher, said, our thoughts create all of our moods. It's not the facts of your life, it's not what's happening to you, but your thoughts about them, these messages you give yourself. And I wanted to see if this was true for Bill. So I said, Bill, tell me, what are you thinking? Do you have any negative thoughts? And he said, well, yes, I've been telling myself that my body is getting old, and I won't be able to continue doing this for very long. And I don't know if I'll have enough money to support myself and my wife. And then I've been telling myself that all I've ever done since high school, I never went to college, I just started painting people's houses. And all I've done my whole life is be a house painter. And I've just thinking, gosh, my life just hasn't amounted to anything. And my career is just, it's nothing special. And there were tears going down his cheek, and my heart went out for him. I felt so bad for him, because my wife and I had been feeling so grateful and so proud of him. And he wasn't, you might say, appreciating what was beautiful about himself. And that happens to so many of us. Maybe it's happened to you, that you felt like you weren't good enough, that you're inferior, inadequate, or worthless even, or defective. But those are thoughts. And so he said, well, what do you think? And I was trying to think of a technique that might work for him. And one technique that I use a lot is called the double standard technique, and I thought it might be good for him because he seemed like such a kindly person. And the double standard technique is based on the fact that you usually wouldn't say to another person the things you're saying to yourself, even if that other person was just like you. And so what that means is you might have a double standard. Most of us do. So you're kind and loving toward other people. Even if they were just like you with the same problem, you'd be encouraging and loving and positive. But when you talk to yourself, you're mean and cruel and putting yourself down. And that's really what Bill was doing. You see, he was putting himself down, telling himself he was no good. So I decided to try that one, and I said, Bill, let me ask you a question. If you were talking to a dear friend who was just like you, a painter, and he's coming to retirement age, and his life has been just like yours, would you say those things to him, like you're going to have to retire soon, you won't have enough money, your life has never amounted to anything. All you've done is paint, and you never even went to college. Would you say that to a dear friend who was upset? And he said, oh, absolutely, I would. And I thought he maybe hadn't quite gotten it yet. So I said, well, show that to me, Bill. Let's imagine that I'm your friend. And I look just like you. I went to the same high school. And I've been painting and my whole life and making people's houses look beautiful. And I've been charging an honest fee. I haven't taken advantage of anyone. But go ahead and say those things to me. You can call me David. That's my real name. Just say, David, your life hasn't amounted to anything. You're going to run out of money. Your body's falling apart. And then he took pause, and he says, no, I couldn't possibly say those things to you or to anyone else. And he said, well, I said, why not, Bill? Why wouldn't you say those things to me? After all, they're true, aren't they? And he says, no, they're not really true, and they're awfully cruel. I said, what would you say to me? And he said, I would tell you that you've got a hell of a lot to be proud of, buddy, because you've worked your whole life doing beautiful work for people, and you've never overcharged anyone, you've never taken advantage of anyone, and you've got hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of happy customers, people who were very grateful for what you did. And as far as your body breaking down, yes, you're getting older, but you can still earn a good income. And you can still keep functioning for a while, and you and your wife have a good retirement plan, and you'll be just fine after you retire completely. And he said things like that. I said, is that true, what you're saying, or are you just blowing smoke in my face? You're just trying to be nice to me, just trying to cheer me up? He says, oh, no, I'm not just trying to be nice to you. What I'm saying is absolutely true. It's 100% true. You've done fantastic work for many people, and you're a top-notch painter. And then I said, well, Bill, if it's true of me and I'm a clone of yours, I'm just like you, then it would have to be true for you too. Can you see that? And then it was like a light bulb went on in his brain, and a big smile came across his face. He said, oh, are you saying it's just my thoughts that's bringing me down? I said, that's exactly it. And the moment you change the way you think and treat yourself in a more loving way and give yourself more honest, fair comments, then suddenly your life can change. He says, God bless you, Dr. Burns. I don't think I need any pills now. So that was I was just so grateful to have that interaction with Bill. One of the neat things, about the work that I do is, well, it can happen anywhere. I don't have patients anymore come to my office. I just kind of treat people as I run into them. But when I can bring joy to someone else, I bring joy to to myself as well. But you know, I'll never forget Bill. He made as much of an impact on me as I made on him. And if you know my book, Feeling Great, you'll find him in the introduction, because I wanted to write about him, put him right there front and center. So that's the story today, but the take-home message is that, one, I've developed maybe 140, 150 techniques to help you change the way you think and feel when you're feeling down. And the double standard technique is just one of those. But it's pretty cool because it's a gentle technique. It isn't always helpful. It's, in my experience, it's helpful for about half of the people that I've worked with. And so you might want to give it a try, and if it doesn't work for you, it's no big deal, because there's so many other techniques. But just to ask you might write your negative thoughts on a piece of paper is a very simple thing to do. Like, I'm not good enough, I'm not pretty enough, whatever it is. Then ask yourself, would I say these things to someone I loved, and a dear friend? And if not, what would a dear friend who is just exactly like you, what would you say to that person? And then ask yourself, would I be willing to have one standard for evaluating all human beings, a standard that's based on truth and love and compassion? Well, that's my story for today, and it was an honor to tell you about Bill the house painter. I didn't know him for long. He came in and went out of our life, but I certainly felt a great deal of love for him and gratitude for having had the chance to not only receive the beautiful, his artistry, his fantastic painting ability, but also what a fantastic human being he was. So that's it. Hope to see you again soon.